Welcome to Switch Up TV. Well, today we'll be discussing on what should Malaysian moderation consist of and how can we make Malaysia not just a better but a peaceful country. Right now here with me is Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, who is the CEO of Global Movement of Moderates Foundation, and of course Datuk Seri Wong who is the CEO and the Managing Director of the Star Group. Welcome aboard. Datuk Saifuddin, I'd like to ask you now, Global Movement of Moderation Foundation is going to collaborate with the Star. Now, what is the specific purpose on this?
I think our aim is to advocate the idea of moderation, both as a value and also as an approach to how we do things, how we look at things, and how we interact with each other, even to the extent of we are talking now to students, they are future leaders. When they become leaders, how they formulate policies and programs that are inclusive, that are moderate in many ways, which is good for the country, which is very, very important. Yeah.
And Datuk, what about the Star? How is the Star going to support this role?
The moderation campaign, which was carried out by the Star, has really been enormously successful. We have received very strong feedback by Malaysians across all sections who says that this is the way to go. This is what we want of Malaysia. And we felt that the global movement of moderates of Malaysia and the Star, we share the same ideal. We all believe that this is the way forward to go, and that where would the campaign go after the National Day. And we felt that we need to reach the young, because the young will be the most important segment of Malaysian, and that we want them to believe in this concept, support this concept, advocate this concept, share this concept for moderation. And we feel that the youth, especially our students, the future leaders of Malaysia, will be the best people to carry forward this campaign, which is why we are moving towards the campuses, explain to them what we have been doing, and we want them to support us, share with us this idea.
This is, I think, also a very unique cooperation, between GMM and the Star, being a media house, a leading media house in the country. Because for young people, they need to see that there is space for the moderates that wants to speak up, and we actually want more and more moderates to speak up, to drown the voices of the extremists, and to give them that opportunity that they can actually interactively contribute to advocation of moderation as an idea and as an approach to life.
I think for the college students, they are most exposed to some of the messages and the comments that are uploaded on social media. You look at Facebook, you look at Twitter, and you look at Facebook, and you wonder why is it there are some section of Malaysians who are unable to articulate a certain issue. If you do not agree with a certain issue, why are you not able to argue it convincingly? There are Malaysians who would put up racist remarks, and they talk down on some people. They will call you anti-this and anti-that, but they never give their points across to say why I do not disagree with you. If you do not agree with me, that is completely fine, because that's what a vibrant democracy is all about. We need to have different arguments in a discourse, but you must be able to do it without having to go down to the level of calling each other names. And the young are the most exposed to this kind of comments, and we want them to understand that, look, we can actually go beyond that. Don't join this racist, these voices of extremism. Take up the voices of moderation. Let's talk and argue in an articulate and a very clever way. This is what Malaysia is all about.
Now, as a CEO of the Star Group, how would you support this role in terms of work, in terms of reporting? What kind of measures do you take?
As the CEO of the Star, and that I have many friends in the media, I always tell them that please do not provide space for people who use this poisonous comments. You're just providing oxygen to these extremists. You may have your numbers in the traffic on the online portal, but it's no good in the long run for Malaysia. This is not about not providing space for different expression. As I said, in a democracy, if we have different views, even if we do not agree with the government, I think that's perfectly fair, and that's expected in a civil society. But what we're talking about is extremist views which goes beyond democracy. and you do not provide space for that sort of comments. Similarly, that when someone runs down a certain community, runs down a certain religion, do you provide space for this sort of comments which are clearly seditious in nature, clear cut? And I tell my friends in the media that, look, provide space for moderates. Don't provide space for these people, you're providing oxygen for them.
Do you think moderates have declined somehow over the last 10 years?
No, I think Malaysians are by definition moderates. The majority, I would say the big majority of Malaysians are moderates. Save for a few who are, as Datuk Seri was saying, the extremists. But we need to give the moderates voice. We need to encourage and motivate the moderates, especially the young one, to speak up, to speak out, depending on how you look at it, and to claim the center stage. The center of Malaysia is actually the moderates. They form the center. It's not the extremes, it's not the extremists. But somehow, if you don't allow them, or if you don't encourage them to speak up, the moderates, and if you don't give them the space, then they, will resign to the fact that even if I speak up, no media will pick up my story. No one will write a feature on whatever good work that I'm doing. So we need to give them that kind of motivation and encouragement.
Is Malaysia heading the right direction?
If you ask me, I feel that I'm optimistic on this discourse, because I feel that Malaysia by itself is heading towards a proper direction. But unfortunately, along the way, it has been you have people with extreme views coming into the picture, and that set up a sort of sentiment that dampens the spirit and the mood of Malaysians. They ask, is this what Malaysia is heading towards? Are we becoming more extreme? I don't think so. As Datuk Saifuddin said, that rightly most Malaysians are moderates, and that the campaign that we're trying to do is this. We want to emphasize on commonalities of all religion, all races. At the end of the day, we share many things in common. Why do you amplify something? When we have a multiracial society, a multi-religious society, there will always be these little differences. But we want to amplify the commonalities. All religion, all races believe in tolerance, compassion, love, patience. And we want to hear people say that we are all of the same religion, but we must speak up against corruption, against crime. I think nobody will argue over this. And there are many areas that we can work together, share a common ideal, and we all Malaysians believe in all these things. And the idea is to provide this platform, encourage moderates to look at commonalities and common values where all Malaysians have.
Now, which campuses would you be going to?
Well, we have more than 60 campuses nowadays. In Semenanjung, in Sabah and Sarawak, I think we are looking at regions. We have to divide universities into regions and zones, and we will try to cover as many universities as possible, not necessarily as hosts, but as participating universities. And our call is for student leaders to actually work with us. We are going down to work with them, and for them to actually organize different kind of activities. We are planning movie screening, for instance. It could be a painting and photo exhibition. The idea is for them to express themselves, to express moderation in different ways, so that moderation becomes sexy. I mean, pardon me for using that, but for some people they thought, oh, moderation sounds like,
that's right,
not so interesting, but we want to make it interesting. So we want people to, it's like, young people will consider talking about moderation is cool, that it is the thing, is the in thing for them.
We want to instill on the young that moderation should be in the DNA of all Malaysians.
And how about their parents, which also have an influence on the children? How could you help them in any way?
I think that the first phase of our campaign, we have reached out to most Malaysians, but this is a long-haul campaign. You cannot achieve it overnight. You cannot achieve it in 1 year. It's a long-haul and a continuous program, but we want to start it and we want to keep it going.
And we won't limit ourselves to campuses in Malaysia only, but we thought we also want to bring the program overseas to Malaysian students studying overseas, and not limited only to face-to-face interaction, but also on online. Yeah, I mean, the social media is a very big thing for young people, so we must use the social media among others.
All right, thank you, Datuk Saifuddin, and thank you, Datuk Wong. Let's be moderates and let's be Malaysians, most importantly. Take care.